can't tune my ukulele. Music soothes the savage rooster. Yes, you think he's a harmless little lawn ornament, but no. He's a killer. This is a song I sang at the Ukulele Club when they first had an open mic there. It's called If I Had You. It goes like this. I could teach the world how to smile. I could be glad all of the while. I could change the gray skies blue if I had you. I could leave the old days behind, leave all my pals, I'd never mind. I could start my whole life anew if I had you, just you. I could cross the snowy mountains, swim the mighty ocean wide, crawl across the burning desert if I had you by my side. Oh, I could be a king deer uncrowned, fumble or pawn, rich or renowned. There is nothing I couldn't do if I had you.
Our house is a great place to have parties, and so it was, that's why it was okay with me.
A willing participant, that's good. We'd met Janet Klein down in LA at a miniature book conference because we make miniature books. And then through her, we met several other people interested in the ukulele down in LA, including Jim Beloff. And they were all coming up for the Ukulele Festival in Hayward, which was on a Sunday. And so I thought, why don't we have a party Friday night and introduce them to some of the local people that I knew that played music. And so thought to have a party where each of the people that I knew that was a musician would have to play the ukulele, because at that point there weren't very many ukuleles in Santa Cruz. In fact, probably the only one was Ukulele Dick.
Peter walked into the shop with a ukulele that he was turning into a book. And he was interested in how do you glue this or how do you make this work. And so his interest in ukulele started growing, I believe, from there. And he started having these little ukulele soirees at his house. And he doesn't live very far from here, so I was an easy catch, and I wound up at his house for their ukulele extravaganza parties, which just kept growing and growing and growing until they eventually became the Ukulele Club.
The club doesn't have any structure. We don't have a membership. We don't have a list. We don't have there's no ID cards or anything like that. So, and we've quite purposefully, kept all the structure that we possibly can out of it. It's as close to anarchy as we can keep it.
So you've got to wait one more minute before you get strung under the boardwalk. So just warm on up, everybody out there, while we get Dave Egan back on the other side of the soundboard. It's a good time to learn to memorize a song. The best song you could ever memorize would be Under the Boardwalk.
We have a pretty stringent membership requirement. Deal is that if you're here, you remember.
We're going to do something just a little different tonight because it's open mic night. We're not going to have the ukettes. We're not going to put the chords up. If you have a uke club book, it's page 23. If you don't have a uke club book, fake it, and you play C, you'll be right about 60% of the time. It just teaches you it's a good time.
I mean, there's people who play fancy new ukuleles and junky old ukuleles and cheap ukuleles and expensive ukuleles, and there's people who like rock and roll and the people who don't like rock and roll, and there's Republicans and there's Democrats and there's young people and there's old people. But once we all start to play music, this magical thing happens, which is this bond suddenly bonds everyone together.
Were you a Latin scholar?
I don't know what the hell it means. I mean, I'm just counting on the fact that
I play ukulele, therefore I am.
Yeah,
yeah, but Latin's much more. Latin's kind of like Hawaiian. The meanings are much. The meanings. That's the literal verbatim.
We wore those up at Reed College, and there's all these students there. They were going crazy.
I would hate to think that if I didn't play ukulele, then I wasn't.
Ukulele Club is so extraordinary because as many as 200 people or more show up at this gathering every month, and somehow or another we are able to collectively as a group actually play music together and start together and stop together and maintain a rhythm through the course of a song, and I think that's absolutely extraordinary.
Under the boardwalk. Under the boardwalk. We'll be having some fun. Under the boardwalk. People walking along. Under the boardwalk. We'll be falling in love. Under the boardwalk. Boardwalk. Welcome to the Ukulele Club of Santa Cruz.
Oh, anything can happen anywhere, but it happened in Santa Cruz because Santa Cruz is Santa Cruz, because we've got a lot of people that are creative and a lot of people that are fun to be around.
I know a certain place that can cure the blues. Santa Cruz, Santa Cruz. I've been every place, so yes, and still I choose Santa Cruz, Santa Cruz.
You have this eclectic kind of music, a very approachable little instrument, and an eclectic populace.
Take 17 until you hit Route 1. Santa Cruz, Santa Cruz.
Eclectic, laid-back populace in a town. It's kind of a natural, dovetailing together.
Santa Cruz, Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz has a long-time link with Hawaii. You can be sitting in a restaurant, you can be talking to somebody at this table, you can mention a little tiny town on the big island. It's way off the road. And some guy at the next table will say, were you there recently? I was there a couple of years ago. I didn't know anybody else knew about that town. But, you can't have a conversation like that in Bakersfield.
It's about the chilly summer nights, the wide array of little shops.
Ukulele is somehow part of the Hawaiian mystique. Even if you don't play Hawaiian music, it's all connected with the Hawaiian mystique.
Yeah, I think my dad got this uke in the service when... Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Where was he in the service?
He was in Pearl Harbor. He was in Hawaii, so this sat in the closet for 40 years until I asked him for it. He said, sure, go ahead and take it, Yeah.
What I know of it is 1879, a ship called the Ravenscrag sailed from Portugal to Hawaii with several people on board who would become very instrumental, no pun intended, in the the creation of the ukulele. And on board were some people who were, I guess they were woodworkers, and maybe instrument makers before. I don't know that. That'd be a good one to find out. But also on board were some instruments.
Really the first instrument that was the predecessor of the ukulele, the brangina, was a small Portuguese guitar that was played by sailors aboard ships. And the reason it was popular on ships was because it was small, and there's so little room aboard a ship for your personal stuff. You've got a hammock and a little spot to stick your gear, and so a full-size guitar just wouldn't fit.
And the Hawaiians had not seen it before. And they just fell in love with it. King Kalakaua became a master of the ukulele, and he began to make his own ukulele. And the high chiefs took it in as a kind of favorite instrument. And little by little, it made its way into Hawaiian bands, which were then just being formulated using a combination of European instruments.
So the instrument got rebuilt in Hawaii using native woods, mostly koa at that time, and got rebuilt in the Hawaiian Islands as a new instrument distinctly of the Hawaiian Islands, and then got the name ukulele.
Pronounced correctly, ukulele. Apologies to everyone for not pronouncing it correctly most of the time, but the heck, I'm from Florida.
By the way, I want everybody to notice that Nancy, George's wife, is doing the first ever punk hula tonight. The song called Halilimu. When you see
I do Tai Chi, and I found that hula and Tai Chi have a lot in common. Because in Tai Chi, you're working with energy, you know, like this. Hula is so much similar, and it keeps you loose, and all these movements of the hula are just so similar to Tai Chi, and it's a very healing thing.
It was in the 1890s that Hawaiian bands started coming to the mainland to tour. And that's when people on the mainland got their first exposure to Hawaiian music, and particularly to the ukulele. And this continued all through the pre-war period, and sort of reached its peak in 1915 at the Pan-Pacific Exposition in San Francisco. Millions of people came to that from all over the United States, and the Hawaiian exhibit was one of the most popular exhibits. And every day, Hawaiian bands are playing 3 or 4 times a day. And people from all over the country are not only hearing Hawaiian music, but they're saying the ukulele.
Then as the Hawaiian craze came to America with the Pan-Pacific Exhibition of 1915 in San Francisco, where Tin Pan Alley and American jazz was taking hold amongst all the college students and all the young set, jazz was like rock and roll. The parents despised it and thought it was the devil's music, and the kids just loved to dance and play jazz. The ukulele took part in that, in so much as the ukulele was so easy to play, cheap to buy, and you could play jazz and sing your favorite pop tune. So the ukulele became as much a part of the counterculture of the youth in the 1920s as, say, the electric guitar did to the counterculture of the youth in the 1960s. And everybody started making them.
The fact of the matter is that in 1925, there were over 100 companies just in the mainland U.S. manufacturing ukuleles. And that doesn't include Hawaii. And that doesn't include Germany. There were ukes being made in Germany in 1925. And Martin Guitar, everybody knows Martin Guitar. Martin was saved by ukuleles in 1925. They made, in 1926, they manufactured 27,000 ukuleles just in 1926 alone.
I played a Martin, Miami, Marvin, McAfee, Ridgewood, Sherwood, Hollywood, Lyman, Dobro, Tuturo, Hilo, Silverton, Lisa, Fabio, Kamaka, Concert, Bushman, Knutson, Nunes, Marco Polo, Ditson, Gibson, Orlando. I should know because I played every youth rock. I played every youth rock from Coleman to Dubuque. I've come to Prano, Flute rock. I picked pineapple with the Duke rock. I played every youth.
not a lot of ego involvement with ukulele. There's a lot of ego in guitar playing. But you don't see much of that in the ukulele world. Everybody's pretty kicked back about the whole thing.
Maxwell made the cleat. Gretsch killed True, Fred Royce Smith. What the heck? I played every uke rock. I played every uke rock from polo to Dubuque. I've strung soprano flute. Sang songs with Cool Hand Luke rock. I played every uke.
One of the things that's interesting is that there's this tremendous fellowship among the instrument builders here in Santa Cruz and also really in the United States. We all know each other, we hang out, we really love each other's instruments and love the fact that we can be kind of an unofficial kind of guild kind of thing, you know.
I played a Maui, Swaggerty, Varsity, Hula, Castor, Kona, Koaloa, Compass Rose, Kona, Winston, Johnson, Bacon, Nakanishi, Rolla, Manaloa, Yamaha, Akai, Lanakai, Kumalai, Graciano, Pinmo, Nico, Vecchio, don't you know? I played every uke-bra, I played every uke-bra, from Poipu to Dubuque. I've strung soprano flute. Those cheap ukes make me puke, bra. I played every
What was it like for those first ukulele players? What was it like to be in Hawaii in Hawaii in the late 1800s and hear the ukulele for the first time? What kind of excitement was there around it? Why did it become as popular as it did? So I really like to think we're still learning from them.
Carnival, TV Pal, you could do Risa, Beltone, Ariello, Winter, Worlder, Islander, Clinton, Barclay, Hanalei, K-Lapsi, Wizard, Vineyard, Stewart, and Buddy, Camp Peak, Echo, you Super, you what a fluke. I played every uke rock, I played every uke. Coming up to the buke rock, I sung soprano flute, even jammed with King Farouk rock. I played every uke. Well, I played every uke rock.
Harold team.
I played every year. Brands of ukulele in that.
That's me around probably 58 or 59 maybe, something like that. And there I am sitting in our apartment in Newark, New Jersey, or Irvington actually, right next to Newark, playing my plastic Carnival Aloha model ukulele. And here is the ukulele, not the actual one, but the one my wife gave me at our first Christmas together. Unbeknownst, she had no idea about this photograph and just happened to pick this out because she knew I was really interested in ukuleles. It's a very pure form of making music, and if anything attracts people to the ukulele, it's that. It's about joy, it's about personal expression, it's about sharing.
Talk into the mic so I can hear you.
I think I initially went to the uke club to try to meet people and met initially Shirley Randolph and Barbara Fuller, who I started playing music with regularly.
Stars shining bright above the night breezes seem to whisper I love you.
Euthanasia, it's a funny name, obviously, especially because we play for convalescent homes and things like that, and we never actually have the nerve to call ourselves Euthanasia at these locations because the joke isn't funny there. But we're only putting old songs out of their misery. We have no other political agenda relative to mercy killing except in a musical sense. The U Club is all about bringing music back into the home where it belongs, getting people who, you know, who just like to sing and play music socially together.
You will be in heaven by the sea. Every breeze, every way you whisper, you are mine, don't ever go away. Honolulu is lighting, beloved Kauai. Honolulu, aloha, nova.
Music so much is, you know, separated. It becomes a spectator event, and it really never, that's not how it used to be. It used to be a participatory, you know, undertaking, and it should be. It's not, music is to be shared, not watched. It's not a spectator sport.
I had a shortwave radio that my grandmother got for me because she was a caterer and had a restaurant, and I would go be there with her at night and whatever. So I had my little radio, and I would just go up and down the dial, and when I hit that Webley Edwards from Hawaii, that's pretty amazing, I think, that I could pick that up in Virginia, but I did. It would start off, you could hear the you could hear the ocean roar, and then the steel guitar would slide up and do its thing, and then it'd just be a whole show of him introducing people and having these incredible players on there. But I was playing in bands and on TV and all these things, but mostly playing standard country music. And when I heard this music and then realized I also found an instrument to play it on, it was, yeah. The Hawaiians took the standard tuning of a guitar and slacked the keys down. They tuned them down to different notes that fit their vocal range.
This is a community affair, the Ukulele Club, and it's an amazing organization which seems to be unstoppable. I mean, I remember coming here for this dinner, this meeting, at 7 o'clock, but now as years go by, you have to be here. Last year you had to be here by 6. Now you have to be here by 5. It's full at 5. And people apparently come here at 4 and stake out tables. So it's really popular. And I don't know anything like this, actually, anywhere else, this club.
What she told me long ago, to the prom with me you'd go. Now you changed your mind, it seems. Someone else will hold my dreams. A white sport coat. This is wonderful. Carnation. And in a blue. Let's hear that steel guitar. Sound I've ever heard in my life. My God, it's wonderful.
was driving along Murray Street over there by that taqueria at Seabright, and there was a very young couple there, probably 19, 20 years old, and while they were waiting for the light to change, they were just making out on the corner. And I thought, I remember those days when you made out while you waited for the light to change. So anyway, everything tonight is about falling in love.
Our first date was a 4-day weekend together, which sounds good.
We went up to Portland.
Portland
Ukulele Festival.
Yeah.
B flat, F, go across the top again. B, F, C, B flat.
I was supposed to go with Tony and Sue, drive up there, and we had been planning it for a long time, and then
that's what they say when we're together.
And Sue came up to me, she said, I can't go, something came up, but maybe you can go with those guys. And she pointed over at Andy, and I thought he meant Andy and Pam, his wife. And come to find out that it was Andy and Gino, and I thought, I'm going on a road trip with two guys I hardly know. I don't even know their last names. What's going on here?
And she wondered, she goes, well, what if they go out to bars and stuff?
And go bar
neither
hopping.
of us drink, so that wasn't an issue.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't hang around around groups of guys, so we just got along so well. It was just like we'd always known each other. It was really funny. Eventually just became an item.
And music is a pretty magical concept because you really do make it. It isn't coming from anywhere. It isn't like oil turning into electricity or anything. It's just simply coming out of the ethers and going out into the ethers. And the other wonderful thing about music is when it comes out of an instrument like that, it's a wave, and waves never die.
You're sitting on a million, you're sitting on it every day. Can't make no money giving your stuff away. Why don't you do right like some others do? Put your stuff on the market and make $1 million too. Name's a good-looking frail. She lives down by the jail. Out of the back, she's got hot stuff for sale. Why don't you do right like some others do? Put your stuff on the market and make $1 million too.
I just really have to hand it to Andy and Peter, the founders of the club, for not only creating an extraordinary open mic for themselves to express themselves, but in the course of doing that, they have provided an outlet for so many people to participate. And that, to me, is a standout every month. There's always something extraordinary. Someone will get up and dance, and it's like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that this person was capable of that kind of expression. Or there'll be an open mic, and someone will have an opportunity to get up and do their original song, or a song that they've been working on and perfecting for months, and they have an opportunity to get up and do it. That's extraordinary.
There's all of us having fun with all the rest of us. And tonight's the night we get to do that. It's open mic night. Yeah. So what we got is Gino the Youth Builder and Emily the Children's Librarian.
Because I had seen Joel Eckhouse, he's a real good ukulele player and builder. I'd seen him do it at Uke Fest West. We had already been doing the slow boat to China, and I'd kind of do that Jimmy Durante singing, but then we had moved in the moves to it.
Actually, the version you saw was stripped down. We had more, but
we had more moves. But we kind of, you get up on the stage and we kind of forgot some of them.
Yeah.
Just simplified it.
Yeah, it was just, to be silly. We like being silly. That's one of the things I always liked about him. He always laughs. Makes me laugh. I'll laugh.
No, I can't laugh on cue. I'm not looking at that.
Yes, what better vehicle for crooning a tune, crooning and spooning and at the moon in June, all that stuff. Yes, I think music is inherently romantic, and I'm a hopeless romantic.
That's love. Isn't that love?
And you had this guy, Ukulele Ike Edwards, who became extremely popular all during the 20s and 30s and sort of single-handedly made it a national, almost a national social instrument.
Everywhere and every day, people point at me and say, there's the guy that's going down in history. How did I do the things I did to every man and every kid? That seems to be the one absorbing mystery. How did I get by when things were not so hot? Mr. Ripley, you can believe it or not. Oh, I did it with my little ukulele. It protected me from every care and strife.
Lots of these ukes have stories. I mean, there's beautiful, beautiful things going on these ukuleles. One of the very most beautiful stories on these ukuleles is this ukulele here. And so what it is, it's a ukulele that was made during the 1920s. During the 1920s, it was apparently a comic strip. It was really popular, and the name of the character in the comic strip was Harold Teen. The origin of a lot of the, 23 Skidoo and Boop Boop a Doop. So there's Boop Boop a Doop that he created. But on this ukulele is one of the most beautiful sentiments that I've ever seen. And it's here, guys saying, music self-played, and his girlfriend is sitting over there looking adoringly at him playing the uke, and she's saying, is happiness self-made? And until you've played music yourself, you don't understand that. But once you do, you understand it perfectly. That to actually make music badly is much more enjoyable than to sit and watch music being made wonderfully.
In our generation, we like music a lot,
Right.
but we're generally more people that sat there and watched the music instead of actually participating.
Right.
And I always thought that was kind of a problem with it. You go see all these great bands and you're just there, you know, you're not, but this way you get to play a little bit and sing, and I think a lot of people we know just really enjoy that. You know, it's a lot,
You know,
it's
you
a
can't-
lot more fun than just sitting there watching somebody else play.
You can't have just one. It's like potato chips. I got a ukulele and I told my mother about it and she said, "Oh, I'll give you your grandfather's ukulele." And suddenly I had 3. I had 0 and now I have 3. How does this happen? And to a bass player, which, I'm used to this 6 foot tall, large thing that's rather inconvenient, although I do love it. I'm going, this is an instrument? This is all I have to take somewhere? Oh my God.
In our club, we have some serious collectors. Andy Andrews, the club secretary, has a room of 100 ukes. So obviously, this has reached the level of obsession. This is not normal behavior. I'm not even sure this is healthy. Rick McKee has a wonderful collection of very inexpensive ukuleles.
My ukuleles are like children, you know, you can enjoy them when you want, and then if you need money, you can sell one of them.
Shondor has a really nice collection of ukuleles. He early on started collecting Martins, and so he has a whole lot of the really nice different models that everybody lusts after.
Ukulele number 2 turned out, I didn't even know it at the time, turned out to be pretty much one of the holy grail of ukulele collecting. Second ukulele I found, which I had no idea what it was, but I certainly knew quality, woodworking, and I thought, oh my God, that's the most gorgeous ukulele I've ever seen. And it, of course, turned out that it is one of the rarest and most wonderful ukuleles ever made. This is what's called a Martin 5K. 5 is the model, it's the top model they ever made, and K, of course, stands for Coalwood. And they only made the Model 5, aside from a very rare example of a Model 5M made out of mahogany, which I think there are only 1 or 2. All the 5 series models are made out of this beautiful Coalwood. I bought this, I said, oh my gosh, that must be a fortune. How much do you want for that? He said, oh, I'll take $125 for it. So I bought it for $125. These now routinely sell on eBay for, $10K plus, $10,000 plus.
It's good to see that it's like what happened around here. Each person started with one little ukulele, and then they got 2 ukuleles, and pretty soon they had to make a club to show off all their ukuleles.
Not everybody made ukulele books, though.
Yeah.
You collected ukuleles so you could make books out of them.
Well, what's a book? Used to know, but things are really changing, so has anybody seen my book?
Book structures have different names, and one of the structures is taking a book and altering it and changing
So like maybe
the way it's presented.
I say some have pages, others don't.
But this takes Jim Belaw's visual history of the ukulele book, and we glued it all over, and then there's a quote
On the neck.
on the neck, which is the history. It's about the invention of the word ukulele. So that's the text. So it is a book, and that it has text on the neck of the ukulele.
Now, if you want a book that will look like books made in days of yore, if you want to see them, go to a museum or get yourself to an antique store. It's 5x2, its screen is blue.
has more stories than a public library in it too. Has anybody seen my...
And this is the Duke.
It's a computer.
This is the Duke's surfboard.
That's the shape. If you ever go to Hawaii, you see him as the statue of a surfboard.
Peter, do you want to be buried with your ukulele?
Oh, I hope I'm still playing my ukulele when it comes time to be buried.
That's a good idea.
Wow. That is a really interesting question.
Yes, I want to be cremated in a uke and floated down the Ganges, yes.
No.
No,
Burning you. Burning you.
But I wouldn't want to burn a good one, I don't think.
I would prefer that my ukes remain here in the world and be played by other musicians and that they get some joy too. It's such a happy little instrument. It would be a shame to inter it. This is a baritone ukulele, and what I find really extraordinary about it, in addition to the fact that it's a wonderful instrument that was made by a craftsman of the highest order, it's made out of koa wood, which is a wood that comes from the islands, and this is very evocative of the islands and island culture. But what I find extraordinary about this instrument is that it has a redwood top, which I think is just a beautiful way to bring together the vibe and the spirit of aloha with our beautiful redwood forests here on the Santa Cruz coast.
At some point, Peter just said, wow, there's a lot of people locally that are interested in ukuleles. We should have a party, or he thought, I should have a party. So he started this annual party called the Ukulele Extravaganza.
The first year we just had just sort of the group facing the stove. And then the next year we realized that we needed a stage. And Chandor just gotten married and built a stage for his wedding. And so we put his stage for his wedding up inside of our house. And then the next year we thought, oh, we got to build a better stage than Chandor. Or another one, so we built a bamboo grass shack one. So we wanted something with the flavor of the party.
I have some favorite memories I can't even tell you about from those parties.
Every once in a while, some real surprise had come along, like Mark Kattner. His claim to fame is he played dental floss on the Johnny Carson show. And so I invited him to come down. So we have a ukulele party. Would you like to come? And
this is what Peter heard me doing on the radio. So I'm going to recreate it. You'll have to be very, very, very quiet.
What he's not telling you is he's done this for David Letterman. I mean, he's not just any dental floss player.
It's a little bit out of season, but I'll give it a go.
In the first few years, there were maybe, 25, 35, maybe 40 people there. But then it started to gain momentum and real steam. And so by about year 4, 5, 6, there were, Peter's little house was filled to overflowing with people.
when the club started, then we couldn't not invite all the club members, and there was too many club members. And before we could sort of selectively invite people.
If you're here and I don't know who you are because I've never met you before, feel free to introduce yourself to me and then I can introduce you to the crowd.
When it moved too big for the house, we realized we really didn't want to continue because we didn't want to exclude anybody.
Well,
we wanted to invite everybody, and it just was too big for that.
But that was a fun meeting. I have a grand memory of that because everybody was willing to help out. And we had a video feed running from the party, which was right here out into the garage, and the garage was was open with, I had all the cars out and a rug put down and couches, and all the people that smoked and were too loud could be out in the garage and watch the party going on the inside. And it was really great fun, but it was total chaos.
So that you can watch this performance here while you're sitting in the garage. And the Tiki Bar, which was provided by the Tiki King himself.
Well, people are thinking there's now a third wave of ukulele interest. The first being in the 20s and 30s, the second wave being Arthur Godfrey in the 50s, and now apparently another resurgence of interest in the ukulele.
It's retro cool too.
Right, and speaking of kings, our next entertainer is another king.
Your teddy bear, put a chain around my neck and lead me anywhere. Oh, let me be, oh, let it be your teddy bear. I don't want to be a tiger, 'cause tigers play too rough. I don't want to be a lion, oh, lions ain't the kind you love enough. Your teddy bear, put a chain round my neck, lead me anywhere. Oh, let me be, oh, let me be your teddy bear. Darling, let me be around you every night. I run your fingers through my hair, cuddle up real tight. Oh, let me be, oh, let it be.
It's got this this ragtag kind of atmosphere, and like anything could happen, and in fact lots of things have just kind of spontaneously happen at U Club. You know, conga lines form in the middle of performances and win their way around between the chairs and tables. You know, people singing along with performers, spontaneous performances, and you just never know what's going to happen.
Play a little Ralph.
This is my good buddy Gino. This is my surf buddy. I already told the story about us starting to surf together. Told us the story about having other past that I didn't bring up, about the jams at your shop. So Gino's the other one of the driving forces behind the Ukulele Club. There's a jam session that we do usually a week or two before the club, and I call that my beta session. So we test the song. So I'll take 10 or 12 songs to that jam session. Lots of the people in that jam session are pretty good players. Maybe, just like a notch up from the maybe cross-section of the club. Sometimes 8 of us, sometimes 20 of us. I put all the songs out at that play-along session, and if they don't work at that play-along, they're not going to work at the meeting. If they die, they never see the light of day.
is on the verge of even outgrowing bocces, and that's a day that none of us want to come to because it's been such a wonderful home to the club. It really, that semi-indoor-outdoor space feels like a clubhouse. You know, it's like something from childhood almost.
When you come to the uke club and you play the uke, there's like 100 ukuleles drowning you out. So it doesn't matter if you play the right chord or not because everybody else is going to drown you out. So you're just as fabulous as the people on this stage.
I'm so blessed by that ukulele club because I often am the person up there leading the songs. What the people sitting out there don't realize is the sound coming back at the stage is so beautiful. It's like a dream. It's all those instruments and all those voices all coming together. It's like the Mormon Tabernacle Ukulele Choir.
Now, if that isn't what the holiday season's all about, I don't know what is.
My name is Marvino, and I used to be the Birdman of Napa Valley. And my wife and I have been coming here for about a year. We had a great time at the Big Sur event with the Burning Uke.
We call it the burning event for old guys who are too tired to drive to the desert.
Well, when you say Burning Uke, you'd have to preface it by saying what it is, and it's a camp out that we have down at Big Sur. And the reason we called it Burning Uke was because one of our members, Patrick, I can't think of Patrick's last name. That's one of the things about club members. It's way too many to remember first and last names.
Patrick's the guy who is constantly through the whole Burning Uke trying to, I mean, it was up to him, we'd put dynamite in it. It was like, or at least major fireworks.
Lighter fluid.
Yeah, lighter fluid. That's Patrick, yeah. We love you, Patrick, we really do.
My wife was talking about Burning Man.
I'm the wife.
and the camp out was coming up in a couple of weeks, and I guess my dream kind of cross-pollinated. And I actually dreamed of a huge burning ukulele in the campfire, and I woke up and I told her about my dream, and she said, "You're crazy." But then I told Andy and Peter, and they said, "You're brilliant. Let's do it."
It's a 12-foot ukulele. It's at the Real Theater. Gino built it. His friend Izzy helped him build it.
Yeah, it's out in the lobbyway. It's painted like a pineapple. It's like a pineapple ukulele. It's pineapple shaped, and then you paint it to look like a pineapple.
There's always a group that kind of rises up at the last moment, and it's like, my God, you're not really going to burn it on you. And it's really interesting because without getting too esoteric-y about it, it's really, I realize what we're really dealing with is life and death. And people, it's like you're wanting to say to someone you love, you're not really going to die, are you? You know, and the uke is kind of the manifestation of that. It's like this uke it's born to be burnt, but we forget that so are we.
good. That was
Yeah.
pretty good.
How to compare to the others?
It was wonderful.
That was a good burning this year.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
He's been to all the burnings. This is
Yeah.
my first.
This is my third.
How's it compare?
It's a beautiful uke. Sorry. It's hard.
Right.
It's beautiful.
Tonight's a night of great joy and great sadness. A true friend and one of the people who is the absolute stalwart of the Ukulele Club of Santa Cruz has died. Gene Galley is no longer with us. If you have a surfboard, bring it. If you don't have a surfboard, you can walk out on the wharf.
In a few minutes, Chris up on the pier is going to blow a conch shell to summons everyone to the water. Those people that aren't going to the water will walk to the end of the wharf. The rest of us will paddle out to the end of the wharf. We're going to form a circle, and that will be the time for remembrances of Gino. And anyone that has anything to say.
Gino and I were to paddle out on a morning that looked like this, he probably would have said, fuck it, there's too many people out. Andy, there are not enough people in this crowd. We need one more and he's missing.
I knew Gino before I knew Gino. I think he was my friend. Because I used to hang out at 38th and he'd always drive by and wave, and I always, is this guy waving at me? So you waved back. And then I ran into Gino and found out he played ukulele and kind of got me started. I purchased one. And that's my story about knowing Gino. I knew Gino before I knew Gino.
Hey, John.
Please don't talk about me when I'm gone. Though our friendship is now. If they say anything, it's better not to talk at all. That's my advice. You go your way, I'll go mine. It's best we do. Here's a kiss. I hope this brings lots of luck to you. Makes no difference how I carry on. Yes, sir. Please don't talk about me. Please don't talk about me. Please don't talk about me when I'm gone.
After that, we're going to paddle over to the main break over there, and we're going to form a circle again. And when all the people from the pier are over there, then we'll have Emily come in the center of the circle, and she'll dump the ashes.
And then when we went to the other spot, Emily was in the center, of course, with the box with Gino's remains in it. then somebody said outside, and it's like, here comes this little swell, and like 6 people from the circle that we formed caught that wave out of the circle, and it was amazing. It was really, really amazing, and so lovely, so very lovely.
Well, Gino will surf Cappy forever now. That was hard. It was really hard. It was. Yeah, it's hard to take your best buddy out for a last session. You know, it was. But there was so much love out there. There was so many people who knew and loved Gino, and Gino knew and loved, and it was such an honor.
It was just a wonderful event, and I was delighted that so many people came to honor our friend.
All of the songs tonight are under the theme of the songs that Gino loved.
I love to get you on a slow boat to China, all to myself alone. Get you to keep you in my arms nevermore.
Remember when Gino and Emily played that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And Gino played.
Out on the briny with the moon began.
I never believed in channeling. I always thought that was a little goofy, you know. That's what the Ukulele Club is. We're like channeling energy. I mean, it isn't Peter, it's not me, it's not Shandor, it's not Michael McGee, it's not Gino, it's not the other people. The energy's way beyond us. It's just coming from other places. I mean, it can't be just us, because we've lived these whole lives and nothing like this ever happened before.
No matter what people tell you, it's hard to imagine. It really is. You know, at least 200 people all playing ukulele, really having a good time.
There definitely is a part of the club that goes beyond just playing songs together and just getting together and eating and drinking. Just where people make bonds of friendship that then weave their ways out into the community rather than just staying in that one single place.
Go back to my little grass shack in Calico Lane if I can find it. I want to be with the Connies and Wahinis that I knew long ago. I can hear the old guitars are playing on that beach at Now, and I can hear the old Hawaiian saying, oh, no kaua, e kahali wali kaha, it won't be long till my ship be sailing back to Kona. A grand old sight is always good to see. Yeah, baby, you telling me. I'm just a little Hawaiian and a homesick island boy. I'd love to go back to my fish and my poi. I want to go back to my little dry shack in Calico, Hawaii. Oh, where the manuka akua go swimming by.
Deb White, who's a teacher up in Scotts Valley, who put all these kids onto ukulele. And one of the real magic moments of the Ukulele Club of Santa Cruz was 6 of these children, I guess probably around 10-ish years old, 10 or 11 years old, played the opening song Under the Boardwalk, with Bill Tapia at 97 being our guest. So it was this wonderful, you can never be too young and never be too old kind of a moment for the ukulele at the Ukulele Club.
Okay, we're getting ready. We've got chord diagrams, folks. Thanks to the chordettes behind us on the stage. So if you don't know how to finger your uke, check out that chord diagram. Woo-hoo!
So if you're brand new at the ukulele, just play the damn C chord all the way through this song.
Oh, when the sun beats down and burns the tar upon the roof, and your shoes get so hot, your tired feet were fireproof. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea.
What chord do you play? And on the C, you always play C.
On a blanket with my baby, where are we? Under the boardwalk. Under the boardwalk. Under the boardwalk. People walking around. Under the boardwalk. I will be falling in love. Under the boardwalk. Boardwalk.
From the park you hear happy sounds of the carousel. You can almost taste the hot dogs and French fries they sell.
Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, on a blanket with my baby, where are we? Under the boardwalk, under the boardwalk, under the boardwalk, under the boardwalk, boardwalk.
Santa Cruz. Show us your ukes.
Very nice indeed. For those of you who've never been here before, the way this kind of thing works is it works however it works.